I've used a couple of different watches this year. Most of the year it was the Pixel Watch 3, but also the Galaxy Watch Ultra. But after a couple of years of Google almost getting the Pixel Watch perfect, I think that this might actually be the year they did it. Let me start with the basics of how this watch feels and looks. The big new addition was that new domed Actua 360 display, and this is a nice upgrade, like a really nice upgrade. I've had so many people tell me that they love the way this watch looks, and it is something that you do need to see in real life, just to see how it actually compares to, say, something like the Pixel Watch 3. The older Pixel watches were flat under that display, but this year what Google did with the Pixel Watch 4 was actually domed that display, and I don't really know any other way to describe it other than saying that it looks really immersive. It's definitely one of the best looking displays that I think I've ever seen on a watch. And the Pixel Watch 4, it might not have Ultra in the name, but honestly it's kind of there. It's bright with its 3000 nits of peak brightness, and it matches that of the more expensive Galaxy Watch Ultra and the Apple Watch Ultra. And then the bezels, I feel like they are way smaller, or at least seem smaller than the other two watches. And again, I'm putting that down to that new domed display. And even if you compare it to last year's Pixel Watch 3, you can see the new display makes the bezels feel a little bit smaller than they actually are. And the upgrade that Google gave it was subtle, but it was really nice. And I feel like that now the Pixel Watch 4 stands out against any other smartwatch. And I should probably mention here that this watch so far has not got a single scratch on that display either, and I've knocked it more than once, so this is holding up pretty well. One thing that has made the Pixel Watch 4 feel really fresh this year is that new Material 3 expressive design that is sprinkled throughout the watch. The fact that it is bright and bold gives the Pixel Watch a breath of fresh air, and it definitely needed it. And Material 3 expressive really takes advantage of that new dome display. Having the UI elements pushed right to the edge of that dome display looks excellent, and I like how the color themes will change to match the watch face that you've picked. The whole watch feels pretty fluid, and now that new Material 3 update really makes it feel like a Pixel phone, and I think that is fantastic. And the UI just works, it's snappy, it's a great upgrade this from Google. I was going to compare the UI of the Pixel Watch 4 to the Galaxy Watch Ultra, but I kind of don't even think it's fair to do that because the UI on the Galaxy Watch Ultra is not great. Like, come on Samsung, put a little bit more effort into this. A lot of that design though is pretty much the same as last year. It's still aluminium, it's lightweight, it's not too bulky, and I'm really glad that Google didn't move away from this. The best thing is that I can sleep with this on my wrist and it doesn't feel like it's weighing me down like the Galaxy Watch Ultra, because that's almost too heavy and almost uncomfortable to sleep at night. I'm also not 100% sure whether there's been an update to the digital crown on this, but it feels a little bit bigger. And just 1 second, I got to give a shout out to the guys who have done the haptics on this, because the haptics of that digital crown, they feel great. So shout out to the haptic makers. One new addition is Raise to Speak to Gemini, and I know this is coming to some of the older Pixel watches, but I was very excited about getting this on the Pixel Watch 4 because the idea of hands-free Gemini is great, but in practice, I just feel like it doesn't really work as well as it should do. I was so on board with this, but I just feel like it never really works. I'll either raise my wrist to speak and it won't listen, or it mostly works by accident when I don't really need it to. It's a little bit inconsistent to say the least, and maybe it needs some update, or it needs to work better with the accelerometer, or I don't know what's needed, but at the moment I don't think it's actually great. But I've somehow got this far into the video without telling you what is the best feature of this watch, like hands down. Google has absolutely smashed it with the battery on this. I've mostly used the 45mm version of the Pixel Watch 4 so far, and I've got to say, this battery might just be enough to upgrade. I can easily get maybe 2-3 days out of a single charge on this battery, and the idea of not having to think about charging the watch, this is what I wanted from a Pixel Watch. The charging speeds are one of the best you can get. It gets to 50% in about 15 minutes, which means I never have to worry about it not being charged for a full day. And even a full charge just takes under 60 minutes. Like, compare that to the Galaxy Watch Ultra's 112 minutes to a full charge. And honestly, there's just no competition. When I heard that Google were changing the charging method again on the Pixel Watch 4, I was kind of sat there like, oh, not again, just keep the same charging method. But I'm glad that Google did this because I think that they finally cracked it. The new side charging position with the new charging puck is great, and you can't accidentally pop it down on the charger and it not work like I did loads with the Pixel Watch 3. If you ever do put it down and the watch isn't even plugged in, you'll get a notification on the watch to tell you that it's not actually charging. but even being able to get 2 to 3 days of battery life on this watch, like for me, it's just the biggest upgrade you can get. And I've noticed as well that even when you're sleeping, maybe overnight it will drop 5% and it's still tracking all of your sleep and all of your movement and things like that. I don't know, I just think that Google this year have smashed it with the battery. And if you're ever thinking about upgrading, you're like, oh, should I? For the battery alone, I think it might just be worth it. And I say that because the improvements are good over the last few Pixel watches. The charging and battery are the biggest things that you're going to notice if you pick this up. I think it is probably the best you can get for Android. It looks great, it feels great, and that battery, I'll mention it once again, is not a worry. Alongside this, I'm also a huge fan of Fitbit. The quick settings are simple, the apps are easy to get to, and it's one of these things that just makes the experience great. And I am obsessed with morning brief, like the notification this watch gives you every single morning when you wake up to tell you what your sleep stats were and what your readiness score was. I think it's great because I'm obsessed with knowing how many hours of sleep I've got. But I suppose there is only one small complaint about this. If you wake up for like an hour at 5 a.m, for example, you'll get that morning brief notification, and I don't want that at 5 a.m. If I'm awake at 5 a.m, then I'm not actually awake. So I wish that the watch would just kind of give me that as a morning brief notification, saying that's when I was awake, rather than turning off that bedtime mode. All that combined though, I still think that this is the best smartwatch you can get in 2025, and we've reviewed a lot of watches this year. The Galaxy Watch 8, for example, while it's good, it's not great. It's got slow charging and the battery life is not amazing. There was the Huawei Fit 4 Pro, which has amazing battery life, but you can't really pick it up in the US. The Garmin Venue 4 is expensive and the OS experience is just lacking behind. Then just have a look outside of Android. The Apple Watch Series 11 still doesn't deliver on the battery life. They're all good watches, but the Pixel Watch 4 delivers on a few things that those watches don't, and it's the only watch that we've reviewed this year that's got 5 out of 5. This is not an Ultra watch by name, but if Google had called this the Pixel Watch 4 Ultra, I don't think there'd be loads of complaints. I know I've compared the Pixel Watch to the Galaxy Watch Ultra a few times in this video, but the reason is that it's cheaper. It's round and not whatever shape the Galaxy Watch Ultra is. It charges quickly, the battery lasts, Fitbit integration is great. Like, I don't know what else Google could have added to this. I think they've smashed it. I only have 2 requests for Google. A, please do not change the charging method again, because right now you have smashed it. Like, it's almost perfect. And B, please make a 3-in-1 charger for the Pixel phone, the Pixel Buds, and the Pixel Watch. Like, I'm missing that. I can't find a good one, or any of them, so please try and make that. Let me know your thoughts though on the Pixel Watch 4. Do you agree with me that this is probably the best Android smartwatch of 2025? Like, I really can't think of much else that actually beats it, so let me know in the comments. Before you head off, why not subscribe to the channel? And if you do that, then I'll see you in the next video.